welcome or welcome back to Cooking with Frenchy, cooking and baking made easy. This week's recipe is about something I've shown you before. You may as well seen it on my king cakes or galette des rois recipe. Is the puff pastry. One of the hardest, apparently, pastry to make in a business. So I'm showing you step by step how to make that recipe and make it in an easy way, then you will be successful. I know it is time consuming. It takes quite a few days or few hours to make a proper puff pastry, but the reward at the end is unbelievable. Your taste bud will thank you for it, and everyone will love it for it. It's a beautiful pastry. It's been invented, we do believe, in the Middle Eastern around 9th-10th centuries ago, and it's been traveling the years, coming back through Spain and through France, and been developed in France in the 16th, 17th century. The first recipe appears to be written in 1653 by a pastry chef, Mr. François. So since then, this recipe has become a very popular item. We do use it for the king's cake, we do use it for the pétivier, we use it for the vol au vent, for the beef Wellington, palmiers, elephant ears. There is so many ways you can use puff pastry. You can, of course, buy it already made, but it's definitely not the same at all. So before we go further, don't forget to subscribe, as usual. Also, please change your notification bell setting. You won't miss any recipe by doing so. And for myself, comment on the section below just to let me know how you go and how much you enjoy this recipe. So please give me a like and share it. Bye. Here we are, how to make your own puff pastry. In a large bowl, put your sieve flour, add your sugar, dice your butter into cubes, and with the tip of your finger, you are going to press the butter with the flour together. This right now it's what we call making the détrempe, the base of the puff pastry. So we're trying to get a little sandy texture. We rub the butter and the flour together between our hands and the finger until it becomes sandy. Once you're done, create a well, add the lemon juice or vinegar, add your water, and with few fingers just mix it all until it shapes or forms a dough. Keep doing this. It will start to get together, all the ingredients are going to bind. I'm going to put that on my bench, and if you feel like it's a little bit dry, you can add few drops of water. That can happen due to the storage of your flour. It could be a very dry flour, so few drops of water, just a teaspoon, it's enough. Work on the bench for about 2 minutes. We don't want to work this pastry too much. We just give it a quick little workout to make sure that all the ingredients are bind together and it shapes a dough. Here we don't want to work the elasticity of the dough, so we are gentle with it. We're not looking for something smooth like we would be looking if we are making a bread dough, for example. So it's gonna look a little bit rough, and it's quite normal. Once you're happy, this is traditional way, if you were doing the French method, to add your butter to cut your dough. It relaxes the dough a little bit faster. Plastic wrap, refrigerate for 1 hour at least. Meanwhile, you can prepare your butter. I use silicone paper or baking paper. Leave the butter outside for about 5 to 10 minutes and make sure it's quite soft. Using your hand or the rolling pin, just tap the butter, and as you see, it has to become pliable. So I'm rolling it out, and I'm going to try to shape it to a rectangular shape about 20 centimeters on one side and 10 centimeters on the other side. I try to have the same thickness in the butter, and I just keep it aside. If you are going to do the butter later, you can put it in the fridge until you need it. Now the importance of that pastry is to have the same texture of the pastry than the butter. So you gotta make sure your butter is out of the fridge for about 5 to 10 minutes and touch your pastry, touch your dough, and touch your butter. If you feel they are the same texture, it's perfect. Use a bit of flour on your bench, roll out your puff pastry to about double the size of the butter, so about 40 centimeters and 20 centimeters if you need to, and just enough to fold the butter inside. Seal the edge of that pastry. Like this, the butter won't escape. As you roll out the dough, make sure you shape every time your dough to remain rectangular. It's important, it will help you out in the long term. In regards to the fold, as I just did, grab the top third of the pastry, grab the second third of the pastry and fold it together. You've done your turn number 1. What we did also, and I'll show you again, at every turn, we turn it clockwise. So when we make puff pastry, we're looking at, alright, we're folding, so we're rolling, folding here, 1/3, folding, second third, and we turn it 90 degrees clockwise, just like this. The big ply on the left hand side is always on my left hand side, so I always try to remember that to not make any mistake. So when I place it in the fridge, it's always placed the same way. When I put it back on the bench, I had more flour and my big ply, it's on my left hand side. As I start, I touch the pastry to feel if it's pliable and soft. If your butter is too cold and you try to force the rolling process, your pastry dough is gonna crack a little bit and your butter is gonna start to lose, like it's fragmented inside. That fragmentation will create a poor lamination, a poor dough, which means when you bake it, the butter is gonna crack and the pastry will not lift as well as it could be. I worked that pastry on a very hot day, so as you can see, I'm adding quite a bit of flour on the bench, and I'm always checking if it's not sticking. And again, for the top layer and for the bottom layer, turn to 90 degrees, and the big ply, it's always on my left hand side. It's so important you do that at every layers. If there's too much flour, I'm using a brush and remove the excess. At every turn or between every turn, you should place your puff pastry in the fridge for at least an hour. Some people will say 30 minutes it's enough, an hour it's good, 2 hours it's great, 6 hours it's optimum. And there you are, while I speak to you, you've just made or just watched how to make 6 turns. Your pastry is now ready for any items you want to create, whether it's a pithivier, elephant ears, palmier, millefeuille, vanilla slice. It's up to you. Sausage roll, beef Wellington. You can keep that pastry up to 5 days in the fridge and up to 6 months in the freezer. I hope you enjoyed this video.